welcome to another episode of Liberty on Nicotine. We're not going to have a featured cigar today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about history and economics. Picture this. Pre-revolution Cuba wasn't just a cigar business, it was the cigar business. Roughly 140 independent cigar brands exporting globally. Thousands of vitolas, which are sizes and blends, competing for prestige. Family dynasties, innovation, fierce rivalry. Basically, capitalism doing jazz. From brands like Partagas to H. Upmann, Cuban tobacco dominated like a heavyweight champ in a room of amateurs. In fact, companies like Partagas alone accounted for over a quarter of the exported tobacco goods by the late 1950s. This was decentralized excellence. Competing blenders, proprietary fermentation techniques, brand identity tied to reputation. Translation, mess it up and you go broke. No 5-year plan, just 5 fingers holding a cigar and saying, make it better or we'll buy someone else's. Then along comes Fidel Castro with the revolutionary idea. What if we replace competition with committees? In 1960, the government nationalized the entire cigar industry. Factories seized, owners fled, brands absorbed into a single state apparatus. Cuba Tobacco. Immediate consequences. Private ownership, gone. Market signals, gone. Incentives to innovate, also gone. Filed under bourgeois luxuries. Within a few years, 140 brands collapsed into, well, let's just say 24. Massive brain drain, massive blenders and growers fled to places like Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic. The U.S. embargo in 1962 cut off the largest premium cigar market overnight. And just like that, the Ferrari of cigars was being maintained by the DMV. Now, here's where things get smoky. State control bought predictably, but not the good kind, problems that emerged. 1, a decline in innovation. With no competition, no incentives to improve blends, no experimentation in fermentation or aging. The result? Stagnation. Number 2, quality slippage. Reports over the decades cite inconsistent construction, younger, less aged tobacco being rushed into production, box-to-box variability. That's the cigar equivalent of ordering a steak and getting either Wagyu or a flip-flop. Number 3, labor and incentives. Modern reports even allege coercive labor practices tied to production quotas, which is a bit of a mood killer when your luxury product comes with involuntary craftsmanship. Here's where the story flips like a perfectly rolled torpedo. When the Cuban cigar families fled, they didn't just take their passports. They took seeds, expertise, generational knowledge, and they landed in Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Honduras, and said essentially, let's try this whole freedom thing again. What happened next? A renaissance. Independent cigar companies invested in quality control, experimented with soil blends and fermentation, built global brands without state interference. These regions became the new epicenter of premium cigars. Today, many aficionados argue non-Cuban cigars often exceed Cuba in consistency, wider flavor and diversity, better construction and reliability. Even cigar forums echo this sentiment bluntly. Their quality control levels are something not seen in Cuba. Translation: capitalism didn't just compete, it improved the product. Well, let's be fair. Cuban cigars didn't vanish. They slightly adapted. Modern stats, Habanos SA, state-controlled, hit $827 million in sales in 2024. Demand remains strong in Europe and Asia. Premium position read expensive because it's exclusive. But here's the catch. Growth is driven more by brand mystique, scarcity, luxury positioning than pure dominance in quality or innovation. In other words, Cuba still sells the legend, but the competition sells the experience. Now, for one of the greatest libertarian rules for thee but not for me moments in history. Before signing the Cuban embargo, John F. Kennedy had a request. He asked his aide to acquire as many of his favorite Cuban cigars, specifically the H. Upmann Petite Upmanns, as possible. The aide returned with 1,200 cigars. Kennedy reportedly smiled and signed the embargo the next day. That's right. He effectively said, "No one gets Cuban cigars, except for me and my humidor." And if that's not to peak government energy, I don't know what is. So, what does this whole Smoky saga tell us? Central planning, reduced 140 brands to 24, crushed competition, slowed innovation, introduced inconsistency, free markets and free market capitalism, recreated the industry elsewhere, improved quality control, expanded the flavor profiles, increased global competition. It's almost like when people are free to fail, they get really good at succeeding. The Cuban cigar story isn't just about tobacco. It's about incentives versus control, craftsmanship versus bureaucracy, choice versus monopoly, free market capitalism versus restrictive Marxism. Cuba still produces legendary cigars, no question. But the dominance, that went up in smoke the moment the market got replaced by a ministry. And as the ash falls gently into the pour trail, you realize something. A cigar, like an economy, needs three things to truly burn right: good raw material, skilled hands, and just enough freedom to let it breathe. Because the moment you over-control the flame, you don't get a better cigar. You just get a lot more smoke. Well, this has been this petite version of Liberty on Nicotine. Comment below if you agree or disagree with our assessment of the Cuban cigar and its rise and fall in the industry. Perhaps you don't see any fall in it at all. Let us know. Go to libertycrackmedia.com if you want to do some further investigation or you want to help out and get the word out for us. We'd love it if you did. That's libertycrackmedia.com. Have a great day, everybody. Light up and enjoy.
Midnight smoke curls round my fingers like the whispers of your name. Each slow drag tells a story of a love we'll never tame. Leather seats and inlet corners where the moonlight barely shines. We don't need no golden cages, just your lips pressed against mine. Liberty in every ember, freedom dancing on my tongue. Nicotine and silk, remember all the wild nights we've begun. when we move in smoky ways.